To understand today's gospel, we have to actually go back to last Sunday's gospel. Last Sunday's gospel was about, if you remember, the disciples are getting in a boat with Jesus, and they finish preaching in one town, and they get in the boat to cross the Sea of Galilee to another town. And while they're in the boat and traveling the Sea of Galilee, a storm emerges. And that storm rocks the boat, and the waves are going up and down, and the disciples are in fear. And they say to Jesus, "Lord, save us, do something." And Jesus calms the storm. And that gospel represented how in times of crisis, what do we do? And this certainly is a crisis right now, what has happened in our community. How many of you, your homes were affected, or you were affected by the storm? Raise your hands. And at the 8 o'clock Mass, there were quite a number of people also whose homes. And in our area, there were definitely 157 houses that suffered major damage, and 29 that are a complete loss. I saw people sleeping in their driveway in tents right after the storm. And storms have a way to shake everything that's going on in our life. But we have to remember that Jesus is leading us to the other side of the storm, to the shore. And the shore is where Jesus in this gospel offers healing to those who are in need. And we have two situations that are mentioned in this gospel. One is of a girl who's dying, and her father, who's a synagogue official, approaches Jesus and says, "Please come, Lord, heal my daughter." And he has faith that Jesus will heal his daughter. And his daughter is healed. And there's also the woman with a hemorrhage. For 12 years she's been bleeding. And she touches Jesus. And Jesus says, "Who was that?" And he says, "Daughter." He doesn't say, "You" or "friend." "Daughter, your faith has saved you." And it's at times of crisis that our faith could go either direction. We could look at what just happened in this storm and here in the gospel, and we could go into despair and say, "Oh, God has abandoned us." Or we can realize that faith is the power to be healed, and it will take a long time for healing. This will not change overnight. It will take months. Father Norm and I can't live in the house for quite a long time. The roof came off it. And the other people who are in the blocks around, and I spent a lot of time looking through the neighborhood this week, they will have a hard time. But Jesus comes to calm the storm. And I got to share with you, one of the greatest things that was calming was to see hundreds of volunteers who came out this week to pick up debris, gather people's belongings, try to gather what they could, assist in any way they can, alongside all of the contractors and other workers who are also here. And we might say, that's the hand of God at work, and it is. Because God places his ministry in our hands. We might say, what is God doing for us? But God gives us the power to do things by our faith. And healing, in its earliest understanding, meant to be rescued, to be saved. And both this man's daughter and the lady with the bleeding are both rescued by Jesus. It's interesting, we might pray that Jesus lifts a certain type of illness we have, and it may not exactly happen, but healing comes in many ways, mostly spiritual healing. The things of nature we may not always be able to control. We might have these because of hereditary, other different types of illness, or the things that happen. But Jesus offers us, through the hands of others, healing. As long as we reach out or touch out like this woman did to Jesus. And so as we gather today and we hear this gospel, well, we got twirled by the Sea of Galilee also. But we are moving to the shore to receive the healing that Jesus offers us.